I want to introduce a new segment today. I hope we do it often. It is called the Wicked Citizen of the Day. We're going to go into what this person has done to become the Citizen of the Day. But I'd like to bring you first to a little context from my man, Sam Seder. He's got a show called The Majority Report. It's wonderful show, extremely informative, extremely funny. And he talked about yesterday, why it is so effective to contact your representative, to contact government officials about things. We tell you how you can all the time. We try to explain why it's important. But man, when we get a chance to show some Sam Seder on here, we're going to. Here is the Majority Report.
When we left a week and a half ago, Kathy Hochul had the opportunity to pick the next Court of Appeals chief judge. This is New York State Court. And she chose a right-wing chief judge nominee, Hector LaSalle. And from what I have read subsequently, it was important to her to appoint a Latino to this position because we have a woeful lack of Latino representation.
Very quickly, I do want to say I frequently talk about right-wing Democrats, or conservative Democrats, rather, and I talk about how dissatisfied I am with the New York Democrats, literally the Democratic Party in New York. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Within New York State government. The desire to do that is one that I think is I applaud. But the one that I applaud even more, Jessica Ramos and Gustavo Rivera have publicly announced their intention to vote no on LaSalle's nomination. Ramos wrote, Latinos deserve representation at the highest level of the legal system, but we also need courts that respect workers and the right to organize. Rivera said something similar.
Yes.
Appreciating the importance of having Latino representation in our government, but in New York, but find a different judge. There wasn't one nominated by the sort of nomination committee, but tell them to go back and do more work. It appears like LaSalle's not going to get out of committee, but it's possible that maybe with the Republicans, they can get it to a floor vote. And it still appears he's going to lose the floor vote. And this is because there was huge pushback by people contacting their state senators in New York State. I mean, this can be done, folks, in these type of situations. If Hochul is a Republican, or if Hochul's even Cuomo, or a slightly different era, maybe you don't see this.
True.
But it's a different era. When you contact your state senator, first off, they're like, whoa, because nobody contacts them. They never hear.
Yes, indeed.
The idea that they would get 5, let's say, or 10 calls or emails based upon any given issue, that's like, to them, that must represent like a 95% of the opinion in their district.
And when I used to work for the city, like in terms of directing calls to those offices, for example, if someone called the borough president's office where I worked, state offices, state legislatures, both in the Assembly and Senate, are part-time, and also as a result, their staffs are very small. So it's like it is not only just in terms of politically expedient, it's also just logistically, because they're saying we are getting hounded by calls about these things.
Right, the
phone is ringing.
Just for the record, this is a brand new channel. This is a little baby channel. There are enough people right now that will see this video in fact, there's enough people concurrently watching, of which there are a handful, to affect statewide politics. It's that easy. You can do it. Links in the description. Contact your representative. In a little bit, we're going to direct some of that so that we're theoretically all contacting about the same things. But if there's an issue that genuinely matters to you, contact your representative. Let's get a little bit more from Sam Seder here.
Being off the hook about this
To get
thing.
20 calls in a day about this shuts down the office almost.
It means a meeting should be happening or something to be like, we need to have a response to this.
And that's, like, and this is a theme that we've talked about when we have, Bobby Big Wheel on. What's the name of the
Future Now and
Future
the
Now,
States Project?
the States Project. Dollar for dollar, like your return on investment in terms of effort or dollars on this level is just so much greater than it is on the federal level. So,
So true.
thanks to those who called their New York State senator. If you haven't, still do it. I mean, like it's because there's a lesson every time something like this works. It is training state lawmakers, and it's training ourselves to show like the sort of the paths in which to exercise power.
I'm going to go even farther. It sets the tone. It sets the tone for a campaign. It's 2023. People are going to be running for 2024 soon. You start contacting about things like this. Kathy Hochul, in this case, nominating a right-winger for some GD reason, nominating a right-winger judge. Why? Because his name was Gomez. You start contacting your representatives, your governor, your senator. You look up who they are. When you find that, you find their contact information. It's pretty easy. It's a grand total of 2 Google searches. We make it a step easier. We have a link in most streams at the bottom of the stream for contacting your representative. You contact them. You tell them what you think. You can keep it short. It becomes what they talk about during their campaign, which makes those ideas more popular. You want to know how crazy right-wing extremist ideas get spread throughout the Republican Party so quickly? It's that. There's a bunch of right-wingers that make a hobby out of contacting the representatives. All it takes you is an email. If you prefer to call with a phone, you can make a phone call instead. But that is all you have to do, and you will affect politics in your state, which will in turn affect down the line politics nationally. If somebody gets elected campaigning on progressive issues because they got 20, 30 calls over the course of a year about those issues, they have a chance of becoming, well, first of all, if they get elected on those, they are going to stick to those more closely. You won't have to do work afterwards trying to get somebody who was elected on wishy-washy, let's make deals with extremists on the right policy. You won't have to then try to convert them to a progressive. No, you'll have somebody who says, I went progressive, I got elected, I'm going to stay progressive. And further, there's always a chance that they will become popular on a national stage. Fetterman is just about a household name right now. Maxwell Frost is on his way to becoming a household name. These are a couple of great progressives. AOC is a household name. You want to know how much a voting bloc can matter? Look at their evil opposites. MAGA right now, 20 MAGA representatives are holding up the Speaker of the House vote. They're morons, so it's destructive to their party, but obviously we're going to do the opposite. Progressives will lead positively. I would never dream of cutting off Sam Seder. Let's let the man finish.
Yeah, and it's on this issue, like this use of identity politics by the conservative sort of power establishment or whatever basis to use it to conservative ends is really problematic, and it's something that it's good to see like progressives take a stand against, because it's so cynical, and I think it's really dangerous and needs to be nipped in the bud.
Well, that's why, if you have a moment to send a thank you to Ramos and Gustavo Rivera,
Absolutely.
do so, because it is much harder to push back in this situation without some key Latino lawmakers saying, we want a
Thanks, but no
Latino
thanks.
there, but we want one that supports issues that are important to these people, as opposed to just sharing a last name that resonates with Latino voters. And so that's really key.
So, what does this translate into in terms of a new segment? Because that's something we talk about all the time on this channel. Well, somebody out there was listening to these videos, particularly when I did one called How to Get Big Money Out of Politics. And then I did a sequel, which was even shorter, called No, Really, This is How You Get Big Money Out of Politics. It is a guide to getting big money out of politics. It involves a couple of easy steps that are similar. This person, Spear5102, got after it so much, did such a hell of a job, and did a hell of a good job, and so much so, and they talked about it in the comments. And that made me think, man, we got to recognize when good, responsible citizens are out there just crushing it. So this is our first ever, what I hope is the first of many. This is our first wicked citizen of the day, Spear5102. They write, okay, I contacted my representatives and my governor. I signed the petition for Citizens Take Action and signed up to volunteer for Citizens Take Action. I also posted this to Facebook and sent it to family and friends. Boom, boom, boom. Just spreading the love, spreading the message, and being effective. Let's go over that again. You get one vote and an infinite number of phone calls, an infinite number of emails if you so choose. Contacted their representatives, contacted their governor. That's two people that just heard, or that's two factions that just heard that they need to get big money out of politics and are going to be swayed now. Sign the petition for Citizens Take Action. That means this group, which is trying to get politicians to endorse the 28th Amendment, which would help us get corporate money out of politics. This group can now point to their petition list, which is one person longer. It shows that they have more influence when they contact these people. Signed up to volunteer for Citizens Take Action. That means they are going to be speaking on behalf of Citizens Take Action to spread this further. Also posted this to Facebook and sent it to family and friends. That is more people seeing a progressive message. I'm flattered that it's me talking in this case, and anywhere you get a good progressive take, I got nothing but support for. Thank you. I've been waiting for a citizen to take action because Congress is not going to do it. True. Thank you. Let's get this done. That is the attitude you need. That person and people like them are going to be what saves this country. And it can be you. If you do any of the things listed in our videos, such as contacting your representative, which is the number one thing we say to do. This is how we get political influence. It's how we build it. It's how we make our representatives do what we want. We tell them. If you do that, drop it in the comments. I read them. I get a kick out of reading them, as a matter of fact. Let me know in the comments, because I want to start putting up a Wicked Citizen of the Day whenever I can. I want to highlight those who are out there mixing it up, doing a great job for the USA. Thank you, Spear5102. You are the first ever Wicked Citizen of the Day. Well done. Oh, just a delight to see. Just a delight.